Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here. Welcome back to another video. You are watching From Soul to Crown. I really hope that this video finds you well. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as you can tell by reading the title down below, today's video is going to be all about how to charge your Moldavite. Now, as you can tell, I have 5 pieces here in front of me. I'm actually currently awaiting 2 more to come in the mail, one of them in the form of a necklace and another loose piece, which is supposed to be delivered sometime in the end of July, beginning of August. Hopefully I get it sooner than that because I love working with Moldavite, and I have had so many pieces on my person for the past month and a half now, and I can tell you that since I started working with it, I have been more at peace. Generally, I have felt more calm. I have had increased synchronicities, and these are all things that I outline in my top 5 benefits of Moldavite video. I'm going to leave a link down below if I remember, and also a card up here. So please do make sure to tune into that video so you can see in more detail what my experience has been like in working with Moldavite, and also how I would say it's changed my life for the best. And I know a lot of people out there have had some profound effects in working with Moldavite. I know Moldavite is said to have a Moldavite flush effect, where just by taking the piece and holding it very close to your person, maybe just wrapping it up in your hand, you can actually feel your face get flushed, very much like if you were to take a niacin supplement, right? I personally, I can't say that I experienced that per se, but I definitely feel like whenever I take Moldavite, especially with Herkimer diamond, because that is said to be a very powerful combination, if I hold it up to my chest or my heart chakra, I do feel as if everything around me gets brighter. And there are times when I did it on a subconscious level. I might be watching a TV show or Netflix or something that my wife DVR'd, and I'll be holding it in my hand, and the moment I rest my hand over my belly and it's closer to my heart chakra, I just notice that everything begins to get brighter. And this is something that I noticed on a subconscious level, like I said before. And the best way that I can describe it, it's almost like if you've been sitting on the floor for a very long time and you stand up very quickly and everything in front of you turns white and you see these white sparkles and stuff like that. That's kind of what happens to me, with the exception that I don't feel lightheaded, I don't feel dizzy, I don't feel unwell in any way. And so I just have experienced some really cool things with Moldavite. Again, I'm going to leave that video somewhere up here or down below, so definitely make sure to check it out. But anyway, today's video is all about how to charge your Moldavite. I'm sure that if you have any sort of knowledge, even if it's a very sort of basic and rudimentary knowledge about crystals, stones, tektites, you know that you need to charge your crystals so that you can maximize their potential, you can bring their power up to the fullest ability, and that you can benefit the most from the use of these crystal stones and tektites. And so there are several methods. Obviously, some work better than others, depending on the individual, depending on the stone, depending on all of these factors. So I'm not coming to you as an expert or anything like that. I would never call myself an expert when it comes to this. I'm just letting you know what are some of the things that I have done that I personally find work with me in my meditation with Moldavite and my experiences with this tektite. And these are just things that I have been doing that I feel like work. And so let's get started. The first thing is charging your Moldavite by putting it in the sunlight. So obviously at night, I like to sleep with my Moldavite in the sense that I put it underneath my pillow. And so very rarely do I get the opportunity to charge my Moldavite by leaving it in the moonlight, although I have done that a few times. And obviously you can put it on the windowsill. Just make sure that it's in a room in the house that does have direct exposure to the moonlight, because I know in my kitchen, for example, I can't see the moon when I look out of my kitchen window. In the bedroom I can. So just make sure to survey your surroundings and find the ideal location where you can, or one thing that I've done in the past as well is I do have these plastic containers, these storage containers. And so I will just leave this outside in my backyard so that, just on a table in my backyard, so that the moonlight will hit it directly. Other times when maybe I feel like the weather is going to be bad that night, I might just put it in a windowsill or something like that, so that it can absorb the energy from the moon that way. But I know people say you can leave it in moonlight, and I'm actually going to couple these two, so moonlight and sunlight. I am more likely to leave it in the sunlight. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I have my Fitbit device, I try to get at least 10,000 steps every day. So when I do go for walks, I'll just take the Moldavite and I'll hold it in my hand, and I'll just try to keep my palm open so that it does get the rays from the sun or the moon if I'm walking after like 8:30 p.m. or something like that, after the sun has set. This way the Moldavite can be charged with the energy of the moon or the sun. But I know a lot of people who charge Moldavite in that way say you need to leave it outside for at least 12 to 24 hours. Unfortunately, I don't do that when I'm going for my walks, which is why it is ideal to either leave it on your windowsill in the middle of the day or in the middle of the night, so that it has those charging properties, inflicted upon it in a positive way, right? I was looking for another word instead of inflicted because I know it has a negative connotation. So that's the first thing, sunlight and moonlight. The second thing that I do to charge my Moldavite is you can bury it in soil. So I do have 3 plants that I keep on my windowsill in my kitchen, and so sometimes I'll just bury it in the soil very, very lightly, and I'll come to it in the morning and I'll just wash the water. I'll wash the soil off, soil particles, with a little bit of warm water. It's usually recommended that when you are washing certain tektite stones and crystals that do not have a porous surface and that do not absorb water, it is a better idea to wash it with warm water as opposed to cold water. I don't know what the science is behind that. I haven't really looked into it, so I do apologize. But yes, I do bury it in soil. I haven't really gone to the extent of going in my backyard and burying it in the soil there, because I do have mint that grows in my backyard, as well as a few weeds, of course. But there is this fear that I'm going to lose it. And so I would much rather bury it in the soil that's in one of the flower pots that I have in my house, versus going in my backyard and randomly burying it in some soil and then having that underlying fear that I'm not going to be able to find it the following morning. So that's number 2. So number 1, charge it by putting it in the sunlight or the moonlight. 2, bury it in soil. 3, I actually use a Tibetan singing bowl. So for this, I actually do it a few different ways. The first way is, I know people say just put it in the general aura of the sound. This is something called sound healing. So what I'll do, this is my very first piece of Moldavite that I ever acquired. I'll either hold it in my hand, and then of course you tap the bowl on the side with the mallet to awaken it, and then you rub it, the rim or the perimeter of the rim. So something like this. Or there are times, I'll be honest, I just drop it right in the bowl and I'll do the same thing. The only thing that I found is that if you have too many pieces in here, you're not going to get a very good vibration on the bowl. So I think it might be easier to just tap the mallet, hold it in your hand, and then just run the perimeter of it like that. But that's the third method. Use a Tibetan singing bowl, something called sound healing. And so the fourth method that I have used is actually spending time with it. You know, we are electric beings, we are energetic beings. You know, if you don't, obviously I don't think there are too many people who don't believe in that or who would challenge that. But even if you look at the use of some biofeedback devices, yes, there is an energy that lies within us. So I feel like sometimes just holding it and spending time with it, or rubbing it with my finger, like that is enough to sort of impart some of that electricity onto it. And so that's just one thing that I do and that I have been doing for quite a while, and I really do enjoy that because I feel like that is the simplest method to use, and that's one that doesn't require a whole lot of thought or anything like that. I know there are other methods, like you can put it on selenite, and you can put it on like a slab of selenite. You can allow it to charge like that. I feel like that method, according to what I've read and heard from some other people, is ideal when it comes to other crystals and other stones. I don't know necessarily how effective that is for Moldavite, but I do have a stick and a slab of selenite actually coming in the mail. So I will be using that particular method to charge my Moldavite very soon, just to see if I notice any specific effects with that versus some of these other methods that I have used. And so just to recap, you can charge it in sunlight, you can charge it in moonlight, you can bury it in soil, you can use a Tibetan singing bowl. You can put it on a piece of selenite, and I'll also throw in a bonus. So you can wash it with warm water. I don't think you necessarily need to use soap or anything like that, or like hand sanitizer, although I have in the past, and I know that's a bit weird, but you can just run warm water under it. And this is a conversation that I had with my good friend Lewis. He also suggested that while you're rinsing it with warm water, just imagine this bright white light surrounding the Moldavite or any stone or crystal that you might be washing, which is washable. And I use that term very loosely because, and if you will Google it, you'll see that there are a lot of stones and crystals that should not be washed. And so please do make sure that you do that research to make sure that you don't accidentally damage any of your stones or crystals by doing that. But I do rinse some warm water over it every once in a while. And I have read a lot of books. This is actually one by Karen Fraser, Crystals for Beginners. And so this has a specific chapter in it, I believe it's chapter 3, where it talks about, yes, you do have to actually cleanse the stones because a lot of them will absorb some of that energy that you want to do away with, especially if it's a stone that's been pre-owned or pre-used. You don't necessarily want to have somebody else's energy that has been taken from them, or some sort of negativity that has been absorbed from that person, and now you are in possession of that, right? You want to make sure that you're starting on this sort of tabula rasa, this clean slate, and that the Moldavite is sort of synchronized or programmed to fit your needs. So anyway, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not suggesting that, Moldavite is going to solve all your problems. And I'm just sort of relaying and restating a lot of the things that I have read in books, some of the things that I've learned online, some of the things that I have come across in my experience of trying to learn more about Moldavite and a lot of other stones and crystals. And ever since I started experiencing the vivid dreams and the synchronicities, that was really the thing that told me, okay, this is real, and you better start spending more time with this. And I feel like a lot of really wonderful things have happened to me over the course of the past few months. I want to say, even though I've only really been playing around with Moldavite for about a month and a half, I have noticed that a lot of things have started happening to me in such an accelerated way. And I really hope that you watching at home, you have the experience to spend some time with Moldavite yourself. If you haven't already, I hope that you did take some value from this video. And I always appreciate the conversations and discussions. I think this channel only has like 12 subscribers or something like that. But for all 12 of you, I do appreciate you being subscribed to this channel. And of course, if you would like to share your experience with Moldavite, I would love to hear it. Please go ahead and leave a comment down below. And I try to respond to every single comment. So far, I have responded to every single comment. And so thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being subscribed to this channel. And obviously, if you're not subscribed and you took something of value from this video, if this video helped you in any way, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click that red button in the corner. And this way, whenever I do upload future content, it'll get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. And of course, that includes videos about healing crystals, the metaphysical properties of crystals, stones, and tektites, but also spirituality, the law of attraction, meditation, vegan living, and a whole lot more. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. We'll see you next time.